What's up, Magic players? It's Doyle, your host here on DoylePrimeMTG, where I bring you the latest and greatest in Magic content that I can, while still trying to have a life. This week, I want to further celebrate the Crimson Vow spoiler season with the most notable vampire tribal commander of all time, Edgar Markov.
Forests, islands, mountains, plains, and swamps. The multiverse is all that is, or ever was, or ever will be. There is a tingling in the spine, a faint sensation, as if a distant memory, of walking from plane to plane. Our lives have been forever changed, as if by magic. Embark with me on this journey to eternity. Experience the true power of mind over matter as we ignite your spark and traverse into the magic multiverse.
Edgar Markov is the deadliest vamp we could choose. For 3 white, black, red, we get a legendary 4/4 Vampire Knight with haste and first strike that has 2 notable triggered abilities. Eminence, whenever you cast another vampire spell, if Edgar Markov is in the command zone or on the battlefield, create a 1/1 black vampire creature token. And, whenever Edgar Markov attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each vampire you control. This is a relatively low-to-the-ground vampire tribal deck that can get a little aggressive. We will need a few extra mana rocks to keep up, but our low curve will allow us to run relatively few ramp spells. Sol Ring and Myriad Landscape are staples that will hold our game plan together from the get-go. Arcane Signet, Orzhov's Signet, and Rakdos Signet will each produce colored mana and ramp us as early as turn 2. Talisman of Indulgence and Talisman of Hierarchy will each produce colored mana if we're willing to trade some life for it. Legion's Landing can flip to a land if we attack with 3 or more creatures. Keeping our card velocity high is important if we want to come out on top. Village Rites, Deadly Dispute, and Plumb the Forbidden will allow us to sacrifice a creature to draw 2 cards. Vampiric Rites and Skull Clamp will allow us to draw cards for our dying creatures, repeatedly. Night's Whisper and Painful Truths can each draw us an amount of cards and lose us an amount of life equal to their respective mana values. Pact of the Serpent and Minion's Murmurs can each do the same, equal to the number of vampires that we control. Dusk Legion Zealot and Callous Blood Mage will each draw us a card when they enter the battlefield. Vanquisher's Banner will draw us a card whenever we cast a vampire spell. Idol of Oblivion can draw us 1 card per turn cycle if we've made a token that turn. Falkenrath Pitfighter can allow us to repeatedly sacrifice a creature and discard a card to draw 2 cards. Legion Vanguard can allow us to explore, potentially gaining us card advantage in the form of lands. Florian Voldaren Scion can let us select a card from the top of our library for casting during our second main phase. And finally, we have Bolus's Citadel. We will be gaining some life throughout, and this card often stacks the odds in our favor quite nicely. The control suite in this deck is a bit tuned for higher card velocity, meaning it's a bit slim, but it's versatile. Swords to Plowshares and Rite of Oblivion will each allow us to exile some of the more exclusive targets. Fracture, Urge to Feed, and Feast of Blood will each get rid of a prime target for a good value. Blasphemous Act, Vona's Hunger, and Damn will each allow us to wipe the board when in need. Falkenrath Gorger gives our vampire cards Madness, allowing us to generate more card advantage instead of discarding said card. Shallow Alley Denizen will give a creature Intimidate whenever another black creature enters play. Viscera Seer will give us prime card selection, letting us sacrifice a creature to scry 1. Immerstrom Predator will give us another sack outlet, and one that protects itself, while removing key graveyard pieces. Tithe Drinker will allow us to extort our spells, gaining and draining life upon each spell cast. Vampire Hexmage is a nice bit of removal for a problem planeswalker, or other scary thing that has counters. Bloodthirsty Adversary can allow us to use multiple spells from our graveyard upon entering the battlefield. Forerunner of the Legion will tutor a vampire card to the top of our library upon entering the battlefield. Indulgent Aristocrat, Cordial Vampire, and Vampire Socialite can each assist Edgar in putting 1/1 counters on all of our vampires. Null Priest of Oblivion and Bloodline Necromancer will each allow us to resurrect a creature from our graveyard. Closing out the game will surely be through combat with our fearsome, bloodthirsty hive. Anointed Procession will double up the vampires that we produce through casting vampires. Knight of the Ebon Legion can get progressively larger throughout the game. Bloodseeker, Cruel Celebrant, and Blood Artist can ping our opponents for creatures coming into or leaving play. Bloodcrazed Paladin can come down giant right after a board wipe. Mirror Entity can beef up the base power toughness of all of our creatures for an all-out swing. Shared Animosity can definitely get us into deadly swinging territory as well, boosting our vamps for each other attacking vamp. Vampire Nighthawk and Nighthawk Scavenger can each give us some evasive bodies with lifelink to keep the life totals moving in the correct directions. Especially when we equip these creatures with Stoneforge Masterwork, giving the equipped creature +1/+1 for each of our other vampires. Legion Lieutenant and Stormkirk Captain can each offer a static +1/+1 buff to our vampires, but Bloodline Keeper and Vampire Nocturnus will each allow us to give a larger buff to our vampires across the board. Once we are prepared to attack, Sanctum Seer, Blood Baron of Vizcapa, and Malakir Blood Witch can each help us get there. Each of these will help give us the extra punching power that we need to take our plan into victory lane. For lands, we will include Vault of the Archangel, Windbrisk Heights, Westvale Abbey, and Bajuka Bog, each just to give us a little bit of extra utility. For color fixing, we will include Command Tower, Path of Ancestry, Blood Crypt, Caves of Koilos, Dragon Skull Summit, Godless Shrine, Nomad Outpost, Orzhov Basilica, Rakdos Carnarium, Savai Triome, Spectator Seating, Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, and Vault of Champions, leaving room for 10 swamps, 3 plains, and 3 mountains. That about wraps it up for this deck tech. I hope you enjoyed the video. You'll find the link to the full deck list on archadeck.com in the description, complete with a maybe board. Let me know in the comments below if you would take this deck in a different direction, or if there are any key includes that I missed. Cheers, and happy casting. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button, and also share it with your friends. If you want to see more videos like these, or hear me ramble about how to navigate this Magic multiverse, go ahead and click that subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest from me, Doyle Prime, and the happenings throughout Magic the Gathering. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you all next video.